everyone. Or actually, officially, it is 12 noon. Coming on here, and actually, I've got to find probably a set time because I know coming on at different times and not really announcing it too much probably doesn't help with viewership and things like that. But I'm trying to kind of get comfortable with a few different things and timing and all that. But I was actually while working, I was listening in the background to some of these court cases and stuff, and I'm going to try something new. We're going to see where it goes. Hopefully, getting feedback in the chat there that I'm on the right path or something you guys want to see, like whatever. But the thing I'm going to try today, and again, this is just kind of a one time at this point, is as the caption says, a walkthrough in reaction to a Texas judge visitation schedule. This is actually in Texas. Found a YouTube video of a recent case, and I looked at it. I did like a kind of a cursory overview of what happens there in family court, and I figured I'd just kind of play along live with you. Y'all can listen to it while you're on your lunch break or doing whatever, and offer some comments. We'll put those up on the screen. We'll sit and kind of talk about it. But this is actually, I guess, what's going on in courts here. I've seen this judge a few of his other things. And I don't know. He's had I don't know. He's maybe one of the decent ones, good ones, but anyway, I'm going to throw it up on the board, start the whole thing out, listen in. If you have comments, please throw them out there. Glad to catch this on lunch. Yeah, actually, let me put Matt's up here first here. And maybe I can start doing maybe a lunch timer type of show where you guys can kind of, throw the earbuds in and listen in, watch while you're doing that, or do the famous, what boss makes a dollar, I make a dime. That's why I take a dump on company time. Anyway, I'll go ahead and get started with this. You guys can listen in, and we'll see where it goes. Let me go ahead and just fire it up here. And there we go. And so this case here again in Texas, and it's a young man, young woman, and they're kind of going through the whole custody process, or well, actually the child support process, because that's what Texas loves. And they're going to talk about what's happening. So let's go ahead and listen in. And again, this is unedited, so there may be pauses or whatever for this. I may try to speed it up a little bit while they're kind of getting their stuff together. But you got the dad is on the right. On the left, Zach, and then the mom is Mallory.
This court's going to call cause number 63227.
Let's go ahead and listen.
This is in the 88th District Court of Hardin County, Texas, and it's in the interest of Delilah Wood Marshall. Zachary Marshall and Miss Mallory Wood, please raise your right hands.
Okay, tell you what, we'll just kind of walk through.
May meet Miss Shaw.
There we go.
Kim Shaw, please unmute.
And got to have the OAG there.
Kim Shaw, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Do.
Thank you, ma'am. You can put your hand down. All right, Miss Leonard, this appears to be a petition to establish that you filed in April of 2022.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your case has been called. You can call your first witness.
My first witness is going to be Miss Wood.
Yes, sir.
Miss Wood, what's your full name?
Mallory Nicole Wood.
And what is the name of the child in this case?
Delilah Nicole Wood Marshall.
When was Delilah born?
October 14th of 2021.
And who is Delilah's father?
Zach Marshall.
At the time, Your Honor, I asked to submit the DNA results into evidence as State's Exhibit A.
Ms. Wood, I've just placed on the screen a copy of the alleged DNA test results between you, Delilah, and the alleged father, Zachary Marshall. Is it okay if I look at these results?
Yes, sir.
The same question, Mr. Marshall. Is it okay if I look at these results?
Yes, sir.
State's Exhibit A is admitted into evidence. Based on the admission into evidence of State's Exhibit A, the court's going to find that the alleged father, in this case, Mr. Zachary Marshall, after DNA testing, is confirmed to be the biological and now the legal father of Delilah Marshall.
Well, she seems pretty happy about that.
Miss Wood, who does the child live with?
Me.
And how long has the child lived with you?
For her entire life.
Who makes the important decisions for Delilah?
I do.
And the day-to-day decisions for Delilah?
I do.
Do you have any concerns about Delilah staying with Mr. Marshall?
Yes, ma'am.
What are those concerns?
Um, for he knows nothing about her. She is not comfortable with him. Um, as well as his home is not fit for a child to be at, and there is nowhere for her to stay or feel comfortable there.
All right, I'm going to pause it. So my first 2 cents here is that if she's had the child, and we'll just go ahead and kind of assume right out of the gate that she's not letting him, and I'm sure the facts will bear out here, but she's not letting him have time, and it's sad to even say it that way. She's not letting him have time. How can he? How can he be a part of this child's life and help make all those important decisions? And again, before anyone starts thinking, oh, this is going to be a bash mom, well, it will be. But I'm always going to be on the dad's side because we just don't get any representation out there in the world with parenting. But you got a guy. Well, I'm gonna throw a little shade on Zach, and I'm gonna make some assumptions. We'll see if that bears out. But guys, stop sleeping with women. Wear protection. I mean, the content is. The content is. We have this happening so many times. Guys, if you stop sleeping with women, especially having unprotected sexual relations with women, this doesn't happen. And I'm trying to remember the rapper. Put a little soy sauce or hot sauce in the condom to prevent anything else. Don't do this. And the ownership here is I'd throw it on the guy as well. It's not just her. I mean, she didn't just wake up and get pregnant. He was part of it, but he was part of it. He was 50% of this child. He needs to be part of that. Looks like we got some comments here. Let's see me throw up the first comment from Lynn here. I mean, how does she know his home isn't for a kid? Yeah, I mean, the facts may bear out here in a bit, but yeah, it sounds like she had, I assume, a one-night stand, who knows, and then kept the kid away from Zach here. And how can she know? I mean, how does that work? Yeah, we don't know. And it's like Matt's kind of echoing that. No time is given, no time to bond. I mean, that's something that I mean, how can you expect? We see this a lot. Like, oh, so and so's not around, or so and so. Well, the mom has made it impossible for the dad to be around. So how can he bond with the child? How can he spend time when she doesn't allow it? Because it's got to be under her rules. But we'll see, as more facts bear out here, what actually happened or what's going on here.
Do you have safety concerns about your address and personal information being in this order?
No, ma'am.
No issues. Okay.
When's the last time that Mr. Marshall has seen Delilah?
I invited him over to see her. I think it was Thursday or Friday. It has been recent.
Okay. How often does he see her?
Maybe once or twice a month if I ask.
Okay, has all the visits been supervised?
By me, yes, ma'am.
Do you know if Mr. Marshall has any other children under the age of 18?
No, ma'am.
How is Delilah covered with health insurance?
She has Medicaid.
Have you and Mr. Marshall
On the
lived
state.
together?
For like 2 weeks, yes, ma'am.
When did you all separate?
June of last year.
Okay, so their boyfriend, girlfriend probably didn't work out
And
well. Now got
when did you
bitter
tell
baby
Mr.
mama.
Marshall that he was the father of Delilah?
When we found out, which was the end of February.
Has he given you money to for Delilah since you were separated?
No, ma'am.
Are you wanting retroactive support in this case, which means from the date of separation up until today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, boys and girls, remember I've been sitting here talking time and time again about that retroactive child support from the date of conception? They're all going for it, so get ready. Just so you know, they're all going to be asking for it because they're looking for that payday. I actually have some other videos that are kind of in the kitty here that I'm thinking about bringing up at a later date. And let me just tell you, the running theme here is money, money, money. So that retroactive child support, the four bills that are currently moving through the Texas ledge, yeah, get ready. That's all I can tell you.
I pass the witness, Your Honor.
Call you next witness.
Mr. Marshall.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Marshall, what's your full name?
Zachary Dean Marshall.
And you're the father of Delilah Marshall Wood.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean Wood Marshall. Who does Delilah live with?
Mallory.
And how long has she lived with Mallory?
Since she was born.
What is the current visitation arrangement?
Every now and then she allows me to see her. Sometimes she doesn't. Just depends on her mood.
May have the answer to that question there, Cheryl.
Well, how often would you say that you see Delilah?
About once or twice a month.
Where do you work?
PSC group in Beaumont.
How much do you make per hour?
$17.50.
And how long have you been working there?
About 3 or 4 months.
Where were you working before?
I was working with ETS in Corpus Christi doing turnarounds, like refinery jobs.
Currently at your current employer, how many hours a week do you work?
It depends. So
On average, how many hours a week do you work?
about 60.
Oh. Ooh. 60
You say you were doing
hours.
turnarounds at your last job. When did you start there?
Oh,
So much for lazy kids. 60
I
hours a
have
week.
no idea.
Wow.
How much were you making? How much were you making per hour at your
I was
last job?
making 20. I was making 21.
And how many hours of? Well, you said
Uh,
turnaround. So what was the work schedule?
7/12s.
So
Oh, wait.
on average, how much were you making a month?
I only worked about a month there, so I made. What did I make? Like 7,000.
You saying you only worked 1 month there?
Yes, ma'am. About a month.
Where were you working before that?
I was working at the school in Evadale.
Okay. And how much were you making there?
Like $8.
$8 an hour?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
And how many hours a week were you working?
I was working 5/10s, I believe.
So are you saying
Yeah, five
10
days a
hours a
week.
day, 5 days a week?
No, it was 10 hours. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, you nailed it, Matt.
And $8 per hour. How long were you working there?
This kid's working 60
2.5
hours a
months.
week. I take back part of what I said about the younger generation being lazy.
So what months were those that you were working in?
June, July, and August.
of this year?
It was this year, right?
No, last year.
Last year.
Of last year. So between August of last
Jason, you
year,
nailed it.
because I know you said
And then
in the
they'll
last
charge
month
him
you were
more.
working a month between August of last year and recently. Where were you working?
I wasn't working.
How many months were you unemployed?
All right, this guy gets a girl pregnant, and like, I gotta get a job. I gotta start taking care of my family. Looks like he broke up, and I think it was April, May, and now all the shenanigans are kicking in.
Around 6 months.
Oh yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right, Matt.
Do you have any other children under the age of 18?
No, ma'am.
Do you have health insurance available through your employer?
Yes, ma'am.
At what cost?
Get the kid
I
off
have
Medicaid.
no idea what it costs. I think I can look real quick.
See, his kids are
When
taught to go to
did
the
you
OAG
and
versus working
Miss
it
Wood
out.
separate?
Uh, was it around June? I believe it was around June.
June of last year, 2021.
I believe so. Maybe.
Have you given her money since you both separated?
No, ma'am.
Well,
Uh,
counterpoint
when did she
there.
tell you that you were the father
I
of
mean,
Delilah?
When she found out, or she was pregnant.
Pass this witness, Your Honor.
Call your next witness.
I have no further witnesses to call.
Do you rest, Miss Leonard?
This is
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I think I got these numbers figured out, y'all, but I've got some questions in regards to Mr. Marshall's contact rights with Delilah. Mr. Marshall, Miss Wood had expressed some concern that you may not have a good location yet for Delilah. Would you describe for me, sir, where it is that you live? Do you live by yourself or do you live with others?
I live by myself.
All right. And what is the nature of the home that you have? Do you have an apartment? Are you renting a house?
It's a mobile home,
Okay. And how big is this mobile home? How many bedrooms?
2-bedroom.
All right. And you live there by yourself. There's nobody else there with you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And this is your only child.
Yes, sir.
And needless to say, whether or not that you're good or bad is not the question at this point in time, Mr. Marshall, but you don't have any experience, obviously, of raising a child this age, correct?
Well, besides like my nieces and nephews.
Right.
Yes, sir.
And then, Mr. Marshall, I want you to understand something. I'm not denigrating in any way your contact with your nieces and nephews, okay?
Yes, sir.
My major concern at this point in time is that Delilah is safe. I don't think
Yes,
that
sir.
you would ever put her in any danger based on what you're telling me, but I also need to make sure that you're prepared for the fact that at some point in time in the near future, you're going to have a child that is less than a year old by yourself.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I got to make sure you're ready for that.
Yes, sir.
For instance, in this 2-bedroom home that you live in, do you have a crib there for Delilah?
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you have a car seat for Delilah?
Yes, sir.
All right. And you do understand, Mr. Marshall, that you will have to have all those things before you're allowed to have her by yourself.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I mean, I'm not going to be there when the exchange takes place, but you do understand that Miss Wood's never going to let you have the child by yourself if she doesn't clearly see a car seat in the back of your vehicle.
Yes, sir.
Because you're not allowed in the state of Texas to drive around with a baby this age without an official car seat.
Yes, sir.
And you understand you're going to have all the clothes and all the food and the things that she needs to be able to take care of her on your own.
Yes, sir.
Miss Wood is not responsible for providing those things to you. You have to have them for yourself.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just want to make sure everybody's on the same foot here. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, since Delilah was born, you have had some contact with Delilah, but it's always been supervised. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Marshall. Miss Wood, I have some questions for you. Now, obviously,
Yes.
Delilah is young, and there's still going to need to be some phased-in period for Mr. Marshall, but he has been exercising some visitation supervised by
Step
you or
up
someone
model.
else, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, let me ask you a hard question, Miss Wood. How long do you think Mr. Marshall needs to continue to have supervised contact with the child?
It was because anytime I see, like anytime he's
Miss
around
Wood,
me.
Miss Wood.
Yeah.
I'm not asking you for what's happened in the past.
No,
I'm
yes, sir.
asking you about your opinion is how far into the future do you think Mr. Marshall should have to continue
Yeah.
to only have supervised visitation with Delilah?
I have no idea, to be
Okay.
honest.
And see, that's what I have to come up with. I have to come
Yes.
up with a plan for Delilah. And this plan has to be balanced beside your anxiety, Miss Wood, about Mr. Marshall being alone with Delilah, but at the same time, giving Mr. Marshall more time with Delilah so that he can get to be a good parent.
Yes, sir. I understand.
Okay.
Why are we automatically
I'm glad
assuming
that
she
you
is a good
understand that,
parent?
Miss Wood. But one thing that I've noticed in the multiple years I've been doing this, young children create very big anxieties for parents when they have to be released to the other parents. And I get it.
Yes, sir.
There's definitely some anxiety there. Okay. But she's still very young. She's only 10
Yes.
months old.
Yes.
So we're going to continue to do at least some of the phases in
Yes, sir.
this visitation schedule.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything further, Miss Leonard?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Miss Wood, is there anything else you think I need to know about this case before I make a ruling?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
He does not live in his home alone. His
Okay.
cousin lives on his couch with him,
Okay.
as well as the second bedroom that he has is completely filled with stuff. Like he can't get in the room,
Okay.
as well as there are also like roaches everywhere. Like,
Okay.
and I just feel like someone should like be able to go out and look at the place. Like, it's hard to explain everything. Like, I have videos of everything.
Well,
like,
let me see if I might be able to alleviate some of that anxiety, Miss Wood, but I'm not, no matter what I tell you, I'm not going to be able to alleviate all of your fears. You understand?
yes, sir.
All right. So my phased in visitation schedule, Miss Wood, is going to take Mr. Marshall several months before he gets overnight contacts with Delilah. All right.
Yes, sir.
And in the meantime, between now and the time that
I'm
Mr.
gonna have a lot
Wood
to say
does,
about
that
this.
Mr. Marshall does start to get his overnights, he's going to have to make sure that he's got that bedroom ready and to go for Delilah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And if at the time that the overnight visits start, if you don't think that he's done that, that'll have plenty of time for you to go out and hire an attorney and try to change or modify the visitation schedule.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I can't assume that people are not going to do what I asked them to do.
Yes,
I
sir.
have to assume that they are going to take the steps that I tell them that they have to do.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Anything else, Miss Wood?
No, sir.
All right. Mr. Marshall, is there anything else you think I need to know about this case before I make a ruling?
Yes, sir. I'm not currently allowed to work right now because yesterday I passed out during work and they brought me to the clinic
Hmm.
and my heart rate they said it was way too low.
Mhm.
So I'm not allowed to go back to work until I'm released by a doctor. And
I'm
they
going to
figured
set child support, Mr. Marshall, on you based on what you're earning.
Well, duh.
Get yourself together.
They're gonna.
Yes, sir.
They're not gonna care that you're not
Yeah,
that you're hurting
Don't
or
come in
can't
at the
work.
last second, Mr. Marshall, and give me that kind of information, buddy.
Yeah, good counterpoint.
You've been working all this time, so I'm going to set child support based on what you told me. Court's going to find the court has jurisdiction. The court's going to find based on the testimony of the parties that I believe it's in Delilah's best interest to name the parties as joint managed conservators, with Miss Wood as the primary custodian. Mr. Marshall will have visitation at all times mutually agreed to by the parties. If no mutual agreement, then Mr. Marshall is going to have a phased-in visitation schedule. That phased-in schedule is going to be simply because Delilah is 10 months old. It doesn't have anything to do with whether or not Mr. Marshall is a good parent. It has everything to do with the fact that she's young. But there's going to be 10
Mhm.
visits at each phase, Miss Leonard. That's going to be 10 supervised visits from 1 to 5 on the first, third, and fifth Saturday of each month, followed by 10 unsupervised visits for 4 hours, 1 to 5 on the first, third, and fifth Saturday of each month, followed by unsupervised visits for the day, again on the first, third, and fifth Saturday of each month. When that last set is done, then Mr. Marshall will begin to have his overnight contact visits. Those contacts will be 10 visits, one night overnight, Saturdays from 6 to Sunday at 6 on the first, third, and fifth weekend of each month. That is the fourth phase of the phased-in visitation schedule. Once that phase is completed, then Mr. Marshall will have standard possession. Again, the phases are a certain number of visits, not a certain number of months. So Mr. Marshall will not be able to completely skip the supervised visits simply by not exercising them. If he doesn't exercise the 10, he doesn't get to move into unsupervised. Child support in this case is going to be as per the following. Ms. Wood is ordered to maintain the current health insurance that she has on the child. Mr. Marshall is going to pay child support as for someone who works in construction in Southeast Texas. I'm from this area. I've been here all my life, and I do understand how the construction works. You work for several months, and then you're laid off for a few months, and then you work for several more months, and you're laid off again. So I'm going to base child support on what I know the area is. And child support in this case is going to be $630 a month, plus an additional $125 a month in cash medical. Those payments will begin October the 1st of 2022. Mr. Marshall will also be assessed a retroactive child support judgment in the amount of $3,850. He'll
Title
pay that
4D
back at a rate of
money.
$40 a month, Ms. Leonard. That payment also beginning October the 1st of 2022.
Good old Title 4.
Mr. Marshall will be responsible for the court costs for the filing of this suit
Of course.
law. But I'll give him until March 31st of 2023 to pay my court costs. So Ms. Leonard, that is $630 child support plus 125 medical support plus 3850 retro with a $40 retroactive child support payments, all payments beginning October 1st of 2022. Ms. Leonard, did the state hear all the terms and conditions of my court order?
Yes, sir.
Any request for non-disclosure in this case is denied. Mr. Marshall and Ms. Wood, what's going to happen now is the state's going to send me a court order. As long as it matches what I said here today, I'm going to sign it, send it back to them. Then they're going to make copies of it and send it to each of you. You don't have to be satisfied with my ruling today. If any party is dissatisfied, you have 3 business days which file notice.
Ooh, he's a associate judge.
County. Your appeal has to be in writing. Your appeal has to be specific. You must state in your appeal what part of my ruling you disagree with, and you are also responsible for sending a copy of that written appeal to all the other non-appealing parties.
So Judge Webster's an
Mr.
associate
Marshall and
judge.
Ms. Wood, I wish you both the best of luck.
Okay. Let's see.
There
We'll
we
get
go.
them back up
As
here
well
so
as
you can
his
see
home
them.
is not.
Pause that, and then we're going to swap us out here so we can chat about that a bit there. So you got to hear one. I mean, Judge Webster, again, I've watched a couple of his items, and I'm again, this is a descending scale. When I say the word fair, it's not fair as in 50-50. I guess it's the family court version of equitable or fair. He's not a complete jerk like most of the family court judges are, and the overwhelming "I think I'm God" on the way they do this stuff. But there's a couple things I kind of want to throw smoke everywhere, and if you agree, disagree, or you have some thoughts or comments or whatever, throw them in the chat here. I'll kind of hang out for as long, but just some thoughts here in no particular order. Mallory, and someone pointed out is that all this OAG and the judge, no one talked to Mallory about her living conditions, what's going on with her. None of that. It was just, she was just thought of as being the golden uterus on this, and she was never asked about it. She mentioned that the child's on state aid, i.e., our tax dollars are paying for that, and a few more thoughts on it, but no one asked her about her job or is she going to get a job, which I think most of the folks here, if you've been through family court, will agree with that. Comment that never happens. Oh, let's see. Matt's got a comment here. Also, they never ask how the lifestyle of the mother is because the mother is automatically always right. Yeah, yeah, 94, 96%. I'll have to pull up Beaumont's numbers specifically, and I may include that in after this is over. But Texas overall is a 94, 96% custodial parent is the mother. So only 4 to 6% of the time the dad gets equal or primary custodialship there. So, but yeah, the mother is always assumed to be the one, the one that gets all the cash and prizes out of this. It looks like they were dating. She got pregnant, probably went a little crazy, and they broke up. It seems like she was there. But before I forget the Medicaid part of it, so our tax dollars are paying for Medicaid. Which is one of the reasons actually Title 4D was created is, after just a little history, and I'm sure everyone here knows this, God, I hope so. If not, go to pissedoffparent.com, watch some of my videos, and figure out how this Title 4D mess got the way it is. But it was started out after the divorce revolution and third wave feminism, where the divorce revolution occurred in the late 60s, early 70s, and 80s, and all these women got divorced. Again, women filed for divorce 70 to 80% of the time. This is data, not opinion. But they would then get divorced and are like, hey, cool, I'm free of my, horrible man and all this other stuff. And they're like, oh, crap, I've actually got to produce something. I've actually got to earn an income. And then they go, well, what do I do? Because I'm all free and independent and all that stuff. Well, they go on welfare. That's what happened. The states started going bankrupt. Each of the states started going bankrupt because they're like, oh my God, we can't handle all these people coming and living off the state. Which, by the way, for the folks nowadays, hopefully you're seeing kind of a correlation there. And so the states started, or the federal government stepped in and started incentivizing states to start collecting child support, establishing custodial or custody, and doing all those things. And then they then started reimbursing the states for expenses and things like that. And then, of course, the states figured out, well, Texas specifically went, woo, we can make some cash on this. And this is why we're going to be getting retroactive child support at conception, and the shared parenting model, which is coming to a wallet near you, and all these other wonderful things. Anyway, go off on a tangent. But with the Medicaid question, he actually said he works and gets health insurance. Why not take them up off the government rolls? I mean, I kind of already know the answer to this, but why don't they take them off the government rolls and put them on his insurance? Oh, wait, but no, then they get that money because every person that's on Medicaid, they get to then whine about it and get more money from the federal government for doing those things. So it was odd that he didn't change that around, and of course not offering. They're not going to do that because, again, they got to make sure their retirement funds are well vested. And I hope everything I'm saying is factually backed up. You can go to pissedoffparent.com and verify the information. It's all right there. So when I say things like the judge's retirement fund, well, Title 4D funds pays back the state. The judge gets their retirement from the state. Do the math. It's pretty straightforward. But anyway, so we got that, and I'm gonna throw smoke towards Zach. And by the way, if Zach Marshall is somehow watches this, I would love to get a update on where things are at. And see, because he looks like young man, 19, 20, 21 years old, young kid, just trying. He's been sold the fake American dream of find a girl, partner up, build your empire together, and all that. It looks like what's going to happen now is for the next at least 18 years, he's going to be financially strapped through this horrible system that we've all put him in. Because again, he wasn't born when these laws were made. He wasn't around when we could have fought these laws. He's the younger generation that I talk about when I say we've got to fix the system, because he's now going through it, and the cycle is just going to repeat itself. And we all know how this is going to work out with Mallory being the golden uterus, raising the daughter there, and making another strong and independent woman just like her. We all know the data. And again, for those that get upset by this, look at the data. The data will trump any argument you're going to have on this, and I don't care to hear about your personal story. It's the data nationwide in Texas that goes to this. So it's the data. I when people argue about their personal story, I kind of tune out because your one individual story makes no sense. I mean, if you want to talk about personal stories, I have 100% custody. I get child support, and I'm a dad. I'm a good parent. So there, I can sit here and go not all the time. It's it's ridiculous. Anyway, so uh, we've got this situation. Another area again. I'm gonna throw some Zach's way in Mallory. I mean, it takes two to tango. I mean, we have. I'm 50. I'm a Gen Xer. I heard about condoms and contraceptives and you name it since I was a kid. Of course, I grew up during the AIDS thing, so we were all scared about that, trying to figure out we couldn't become blood brothers with our buddies anymore, and all that. But I assume there was a condoms available on every corner. Why are we having pregnancies? It makes no sense. I mean, that's one. I mean, I don't know if Zach and Mallory decide, hey, we're together, we love each other, let's have a child, which is the stupidest thing you could do, especially in today's environment, and especially as the man. But I throw some heat both ways at them because they both should have been smarter. They're young in today's economy. Matt, Jason, and others have pointed out we've got crazy inflation, pricing on everything is through the roof. Having a kid is just it doesn't make sense to do that, especially until you're financially able to take care of the child. And with the divorce laws and the way things are, where the woman gets cash and prizes, the overwhelming majority of the time, it's dumb for any guy to have a kid or be around any woman. That's just the cold hard facts. And I'd love to hear people argue with me about that. You can go look at the data first and then come back to me if you still, for some strange reason, have an argument. And if you do, I'm going to write you off as a nut job because you obviously didn't read anything. We got let's see, we got a comment here from Matt. They actually brag about it on the porch is what they were working around of how they're gone out, their men and fathers of their kids is insane. Yeah. Oh, I think actually you had mentioned, that you're working in government housing right now. You're in that area and you see it. Yeah. I mean, that's the data is all there. I mean, if people don't see that, I've got nothing for them. There's no amount of education I can give you that's going to show you that that we have created this, our legislators have created this for us. We have got to we've got to change this stuff, and that's getting the this information out, like, share, subscribing, getting educating, starting a conversation. I put out there. And again, if there's other groups that do this, use them. It's one of those I don't care who's doing it. I'm not here to make money. This actually isn't even my organization, although I do co-host with Eric on Dad Talk Today. Actually, I own this shirt, asking the question. Instead of asking fathers to fight harder, start asking mothers why we had to fight at all. And that gets conversation started. When I'm out in public, people will come up to me and start talking to me about it on both sides of it, and education ensues. I mean, just leave it at that. I, of course, actually still have I left my tumbler downstairs. I'm on a water thing. But we have Dad Talk Today has tumblers. You can have that out there drinking non-alcoholic beverages, of course, and you have that. And then if there's other things out there, hats, whatever, do it. Write on a piece of paper. I don't care. Share this stuff with your friends, families, enemies, baby mamas, baby daddies, whatever, and do that. Another area that I really want to get into, though, and I think this is lacking because I know a lot of people. Let's see here. Oh, Matt, Joe. Yeah. Oh, hey, Joe's on. All right. Joe was on actually last night where we were talking about retroactive child support and an idea or a couple of ideas with how to combat that, as well as what just some things to think about. And I'm hoping that our opponents to that bill are watching that because I believe anyway. We presented a number of challenges and impacts to the retroactive child support bill that are going to be bad for parents, kids especially, dads and moms, married dads, unmarried moms, unmarried dads. It's going to be bad for everybody. That is, anyway, watch that, and we need to get the information out there. That's just kind of the thing I'm talking about, the Pops content. Pissedoffparent.com. No, I think I'm no stranger at this point. I hope I'm not. Pissedoffparent.com. Free information. Everything I do is free. I want the information out there. And if you're listening about 5 minutes earlier, hopefully you all know. Personally, I've got no personal axe to grind outside of the fact, I have 100% custody. I get child support. I'm in it because I am tired of kids like Zachary are being, one, screwed by the system. I'm upset at, or I'm worried about Mallory, because Mallory is now going to become a product of the system. When she goes on child support, she becomes a ward of the state, as does their daughter. And she's going to then be in a feed the bear scenario the rest of her life. And I don't want that for anyone. Anyone that can't stand on their own 2 feet and be proud of themselves, that does a lot to your psyche, who you are. I mean, I'm proud to say that I'm able to stand up. I don't take a penny from anyone. I don't need the government's intervention. If there are people that fall into hard times, and that if they have to do that, great. We get them, but the goal is to get off of that and be self-sufficient, self-sustaining. We're creating, and we've seen this for decades, getting worse and worse and worse. People like Mallory that are now going to be like, I deserve this. I'm superstar. I'm special. They're going to, of course, then share that with the daughter who's going to grow up in this, and it's not going to be good for that child. The statistics and the data all show that stuff. Jason nailed it here. Right, they are setting up the mom and daughter for failure. That's a whole other thing. I mean, I know opponents to the dad groups and stuff like that are like, oh, we hate women. We hate it. I don't. I'm married. Third time. It took me a couple tries to get there, but I'm married. I have children. I believe 100% in the nuclear family, that it should be man and woman, equal partners against the world, building their empire and making a name for themselves. That is, I mean, you can talk to my wife. I mean, that is 100% what I believe, and that's 100% what I carry out. And I do believe in roles and all that stuff. I make no bones about that, but I get off on all these tangents here, but I see the damage to children in this scenario. I mean, a study just came out that in the millennials, which I don't know if they're millennials or zennials. I don't. I'm old. I'm Gen X. So what do I care? I don't care. I just know I keep being told I'm a boomer and I'm not. Darn it. But I assume they're Gen Z. Yeah, Gen Z. Millennials. So these millennials, half of all children are born out of wedlock to millennials. That is beyond scary. That half of all children are going to grow up, and for the people, the power moms. Most dads don't say it because the power moms are like, oh, I raised my child. You got to look at the data. The data shows overwhelmingly children raised in mom-parent homes do horrible throughout that. And if you've ever been to my website, you'll hopefully walk away knowing this. If not, I don't. The data's there. It's free. It's available. All you gotta do is open your peepers and look at this stuff, comprehend it. This is all national data. This isn't some weird pie in the sky, whatever. This is all good data. That shows definitively that a child raised by a single mom is worse. And actually, the name Ann Coulter might tick you off, but she did a lot of research and she summarizes it for everyone. You can, of course, do your own research, but she says the worst place for a child to be is with a single mom, and that's across the board. That's foster care, man only. It doesn't matter. The worst place for her to be is with a single mom, in a single mom situation. Her words, not mine. Anyway, I want Mallory and Zach's child to not grow up with the data that I know, the things I know it's going to happen to her. That's why I'm here. We've got to change this around. Now, I am going to, throw a little smoke because for the Texas folks, I don't know if you know this or not, but there's a program. It's actually on pissedoffparent.com website. There's the link to it. You can get to it from there. But there's a program called PAPA, P-A-P-A, and it's a parental awareness program. It's got cute little videos, and it basically teaches teenagers that the woman's job is to put the man on child support, and actually say it's a good idea. And the man's job is to pay child support. That's what it teaches. It blows my mind. Of course, when you remove usually the husband, the man out of the family, that's the one that should be teaching the children. Now, this is where I'm going to blow a little smoke towards Zachary here. Now, he did say that he had, a crib, he had whatever. We need to be teaching, like, where's like home ec or whatever we called it back in my generation. they, outside of having your family teach you how to raise children and what kind of parent you should be and how you should do all those things like nursing and walking, burping, I mean pooping. I mean I'm an expert in that area. I mean I can change a diaper like nobody's business. But it seems like they're not teaching kids because they've removed the nuclear family. Go figure. They then are expecting these kids to figure it out. They're going to teach them about parallelograms, but they're not going to teach them home ec, how to cook, how to take care of yourself, how to pay your taxes. I'm going to get a little bit personal here. My wife works for a company. She does great work for them. It's a company that it's not foster care, so I want to be very specific. It's because I hate CPS, I hate Title 4E, whole other thing to go down. But the company she works for, parents will voluntarily turn their children over to this organization, and I hear about what they teach, and this is a Christian organization, Christian-based organization. It's 100% off donations, no tax dollars, no nothing, and it's a successful, very successful program. And what they've done is they have programs where they teach these kids life skills. An example: if the toilet breaks, which could happen in anyone's house, just happened in mine, but they don't call the plumber. They get all the kids from all the houses and make them deal with that situation. They provide guidance. So they teach these kids, and then they're able to learn from that. They teach them how to balance their checkbook, how to do child rearing, do those things. It's a 100% successful program. I mean, the numbers are off the charts, and all the other things. It's done through donations. But not, there's no tax dollars, there's none of that, and it's a very successful program. We have a government program that gets millions of dollars, and they just lost Title 4E funds. I'm talking to Texas here. Title 4E funds because they could not work with the Kids First program. If you go to Pissed Off Parent on the Facebook page, I think it's Facebook page or the website. I can't remember which one. There's an article and information where Texas has lost those Title 4E funds, millions of dollars, by the way, because they couldn't abide by the put kids first, which is they do everything they can to keep the child in the parent's home because they know they can make more money ripping the child out of a home and then putting them in foster care. Whole different thing to run down. But we need to be teaching our kids to these life skills. And when I heard him, now he did, he offered a few statements, whenever she lets me. That's the whole other thing. I mean, the laws aren't going to change tomorrow night. Talking to the ladies out there, let the father be a dad. How hard is that? The control and the whatever. And again, I'm not going to sit here and say that all dads are perfect or right or good. Although I'm going to assume that the dads that are on here are the good ones. I mean, I don't know how many garbage dads are on here. I'm sure there are some that are on here doing talking about, hey, I need to be a good father, or teach them whatever. Let's see what we got here. We got a couple more comments here from Joe. It's freaking awesome stuff the school's not teaching us, definitely needed with our youth. Yeah. I mean, there's so many other things. I'll tell you about it offline because I don't want to put all the information out there for the world to see. But it's just a great program, and we need more like them. And I would offer as a kind of a call to action for everyone out there listening, or everyone you can share it with, get involved. Go to your school, even if you don't have your children. Go to your school. Be a mentor to others. Get this information out there. Teach these kids because otherwise the government's going to, and we know how that works out. It's like Matt's heading back to work here. What I'd like to do, at this point, let me put up my little share here to like, share, and subscribe. Get this information out there. I also want to know, and put it in the chat or send a note or whatever, if you'd like these type of things where we do kind of a reaction video. When I work, I'm always, of course, keeping an ear out for this stuff, and I try to get information out to people. If anyone knows me, they know that's kind of my MO. And I'm trying to find new ways to get information out to the public, out to the population, so people can learn, educate, and then get others involved, and hopefully change this around. That's my ultimate goal, because where we're at is horrible, and it's about to get much worse. I need everyone's help to get out there. To do it, I obviously can't do it on my own. I'd like to say, I'm not 20 years old anymore. I was actually listening to Toby Keith's "Not as Good as I Once Was," and boy, that song really hit home today. If you get a chance, listen to it if you have. It's Toby Keith, "Not as Good as I Once Was." It pretty well kind of embodies where I'm at. Get the conversation started. I mean, it doesn't need to be just me. Or you, or I mean, share this information with other people. Share with whatever group you're with. It's one of those, I don't care who gets the glory as long as we fix this problem. As long as we can see Zach and Mallory's kid grow up and not be a statistic, not a bad statistic. That's my ultimate goal. And for the opponents out there that may or may not be watching, that's why I'm here. You can spin this however you want to, or whatever, that I'm an angry dad, and I am. I'm not even an angry dad. I'm a pissed off parent, which everyone out there should be as well, because what's happening to our kids is not right. We need to get off our butts and start making some change. One way, if you don't feel right about, walking up to some stranger and going, blah, 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 Title 40 and freaking them out, get a t-shirt. This is actually a good one. Instead of asking fighters to fight harder, start asking others why we had to fight at all. That one, I will tell you right now, has gotten me in a lot of conversations. Most of them positive. Get educated, go to pissedoffparent.com or wherever you want to go and get information on what Title 4D is and how it impacts things, and know your stuff, get a good base understanding, and then go out there and start the conversation. Start this stuff. That's the only way it's going to change. I mean, giving a crap who won the Super Bowl and who's in the Grammys and whatever else, that's not going to help these kids out. Certainly not going to help Zach and Mallory's kid out. So, all right, I've been sitting here yakking close an hour. Thank you all for the folks that have been hanging with me. If you want to see something like this, kind of like ongoing, daily, weekly, monthly, whatever, please let me know. Actually, I got a comment here from Father X. Show is a good idea. Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to see more of this kind of stuff, as I can, I'll get these in. We'll try to get a specific times, slot for that. And I have no problem doing research and stuff to get out there, educate folks, have some conversation back and forth, and get this out there. That's really what I want to do, and hopefully the other organizations that are much smarter and better than me can take this and do it in their own way, and we get more of this information out there. And at the end of the day, kids like Mallory and Zach's are gonna make it. That's my hope. I want to see their kid on on the news for winning an award, not going to jail or having 8 baby mamas by 8 different dads that we of course when this bill passes it won't even matter because they can name whoever they want to, but whole different thing there. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end her now. Thank you all for listening to me blather on. Hope you guys learned something, got educated, have a little bit of fun at the same time, because again, it's not the end of the world. Well, okay, I shouldn't say it. Probably is kind of the end of the world the way things are going, but hopefully we can turn this around and make it better. So with that, hope you guys are having a great day. Actually, I heard that today is Banana Bread Day, National or International Banana Bread. So go out there and make a banana bread or something. I don't know. But anyway, all right, everybody have a good rest of your day, and we'll talk to y'all later.